All right. So, welcome to our State of LAD monthly meeting. This is where we give an update on where we are as an organization. We give you stats. We let you know how the financials are doing and just an overall update to how Letters Against Depression is doing. So, let's go ahead and get started with some milestones. So, for this month of July, we hit our 3,000th recipient on July 4th. So since we began in 2014, we've written to now 3,000 people plus some since then, but amazing milestone that we hit there, as well as we had some volunteer milestones. Dee Dee completed writing to all of the active recipients in the portal list. And has currently written 2,156 letters with us. Kimberly L. Surpassed 200 letters sent. Lynn C. surpassed 100 letters sent. Mel A. Went past 100. Rachel surpassed 75 letters sent. And Anne M. surpassed 50. So amazing milestones there. I can't thank you all enough. This is amazing because it's how we get this hope and support to so many people. And so congratulations and thank you all for that. So some statistics about our recipients for the month. We got 72 new recipients in July. That's up from last month where we had 50. And from July last year, this time last year, we had 10 for the whole month. So we're definitely trending in a great direction, signing up more people. For 2022 so far, we've gotten 543 new recipients. At this point last year, we were at 182. So we're more than double, almost 3 times as much going through. That we're signing up. So that's amazing news. We definitely want to get as much hope and support out to people. Any opportunity that we get to find new people to write to is just perfect. As of July 31st, we had 1,060 active recipients. So active recipients means that we're still currently writing to them. If they haven't updated with us after a year, or they request to no longer get letters, then their profile becomes deactivated. So we have over 1,000 people we're currently writing to. We had 27 people update or renew their profile this month, which is great. And we've had 228 people update continuing with us for 2022. If you look at how many people signed up last year, and that kind of through this point, there was 182 people signed up. We had 228 people renew. So that's almost like we've renewed everybody that signed up from last year around this time. And then also some from the prior year. So we're doing great. That means people love what we do. They continue to want to get letters and interact with us to get those. And finally, we've had 3,027 total recipients now since 2014. We mentioned we passed the 3,000 mark, and we're at 3,027. Some volunteer statistics. We had 174 new volunteers in July. That's down a little bit from last month at 197, but definitely up from a year ago where it was 74. So we've more than doubled that. For 2022, we've had over 2,097 people sign up to volunteer, when last year at that same time was about 600. So it's over 3 times as much volunteering that is coming through. Of the 2,000 from this year, since 2022 started, of the 2,000, 680 have signed up with us and completed at least one volunteer activity, meaning they wrote a letter, they sent in hugs, they did a card, something like that. They've actually completed. So that's 33% engagement. So 1 out of 3 people that sign up actually go through and continue through to sending in a letter. That's up from last year. It's almost double, where we were at 17%, because it's really easy to sign up and say, hey, I'm going to do this. This is what I want to do. And then you start, and then you just never follow through. So the engagement is definitely increasing, and we're seeing that with the amount of letters and stuff that we're able to send out. We have 4,496, almost 4,500 active volunteer accounts on the portal. And of that, 2,500 have completed at least one volunteer activity. So more than half of the active volunteer accounts have sent in a letter, done card or something like that, which is great. That includes those that signed up from this month that maybe it was at the end of the month, or others that may still complete activities later this month. For our mail sent, this is the first month ever where we ended up sending more cards than letters. It's not a bad thing. It's just, it was surprising that we sent 501 letters and 507 cards this month. The only time, and actually I say it's the first month ever, it's the only one outside of when we used to send just Christmas cards, because everyone would get one of those. This is the first non Christmas card sending that we've had where it's happened like that. For 2022, we've sent almost 5,000 letters, so 4,901. At this point last year, we had sent 3,972, so almost 1,000 more letters this year, about 23% more. So we're definitely seeing an increase in letters, which is perfect. We do see the length of time in between letters getting shorter, and that is exactly what we're hoping for as well. We want it to get even better. There was 507 cards sent in July. 502 of them were birthday cards. So that averages out to just about 5 cards per birthday recipient. We had about 100 birthdays. We're finding more and more that our letters being sent have decreased a little bit. We were in the 800s a few months ago, but the number of cards is increasing. So it's like though volunteers have decided to do cards and wanting to send cards more than writing the letters. So we're still getting about the same amount of mail going out, just changing the percentages of how that's going. We've sent 2,700 birthday cards already this year. Through this point last year, we had sent 796. So that's almost 2,000 more birthday cards this year. We sent 5 holiday cards. There was one holiday that we sent out, one of the pagan holidays. So we had 5, which brings our total for this year at 787. Last year through July, we had 19. We had just kicked off the celebrations. Not too much were chosen in the earlier part of the year, so that's why it was lower. So we've had a lot more holiday cards this year. That averages out to 32 letters or cards sent per day from here at my location. So definitely sending plenty of mail as we're going through. And since we began, we've sent a total of 39,696 letters and cards. So we're almost at number 40,000. So another milestone coming up there. Let's look at our 2022 goals. So we had put 6 goals forth that we wanted to try to reach throughout 2022. We're 58% through the year now. So one of our, the first goal was to send 15,000 letters. We are lagging on that one. I'm hoping that as the year goes on, we're going to pick that up. We're almost a third of the way there at 4,901 sent. We want to send 3,000 cards. We're definitely going to beat that. We're already at 2,744. So in the next month, we'll actually beat that goal, which was a lofty goal when we first put it in. You saw, last year we had sent about 700 cards at this point. Ended up being a little over 1,000. We wanted to almost triple it, and we're going to this year. We wanted to sign up 5,000 new volunteers. We've done just over 2,000. So again, we're lagging a little bit. We're hoping that some of the efforts that we're going to shift towards new volunteers and engaging volunteers is going to increase that number as we go throughout the year. 700 new recipients was our goal. We've done 543, so we're well above. That purple line is where we should be if we were on pace for our goal. So we're definitely above on that one as well, almost 80% of our goal. For donations, we're looking for $36,000 raised this year. And currently right now we're at 24,000. So we're above on that as well. And finally, stamps, we were looking for 5,000 stamps donated, and you all have been absolutely amazing with that. And we've already raised 11,257 stamps. So we blew that one out of the water when we thought that was a stretch goal. So that's amazing, because the stamps help us spread that hope and support even more by being able to put the donations and the funding that we get into the programs other than stamps. So stamps is one of our biggest expenses. So that has been absolutely amazing. I can't think, everyone has been amazing on that. So one of the things that we do is that once we hit some milestones on stamps donated, about every 1,000 or so, we do a raffle, which you can get a free t-shirt from our store. So we've done 3 or 4 of those already. We've had someone donated in bulk a bunch of stamps, so it kind of only triggered it a few times, but we've done it 3 times and we're about to do our 4th. So all you have to do is, if you donate 1 stamp or 1 book of stamps, you're entered in, and then once we hit that 1,000, everyone that was part of that will get into that drawing for that shirt. So let's talk about our funds and our state of where our finances are. So our bank account balance as of July 31st is $7,428.74 in our checking, so about $7,500. And we have no money due on our credit card, so we're in really good shape. We're actually doing better than expected on our budgeting, so we're looking like we're going to complete out 2022 very strong. We did escalate, and you'll see as part of the budgeting, a bunch of the stretch goals for what we wanted to see and where we wanted to be with funding for the possibility of getting a physical location. And we talked it over at the last board meeting, and we're going to delay on a physical location for now. We're going to try out some things and get a cost analysis of what that would look like going forward, just to make sure that we can maintain it, and maybe look for some grants that can fund that instead of through the normal funds that we get. For our donations and income for this year, we've had $5,500 in individuals that have donated, 14,350 in corporate donations, $840 in merchandise sales, and $4,100 in in-kind donations, and that's stamps and envelopes. When you decorate envelopes, that's also considered an in-kind donation, just because that's something, again, that we don't have to purchase. So we take the value of each envelope and add that into our in-kind donations. That's a total of $24,850 in donations through July already. When we look back at last year, the whole year we raised $20,000. So we're already almost $5,000 above all of last year.
Nice.
And at this point, we were at 14,250 last year. So we're already over 10,000 more than we were. So that's put us in an excellent position to be able to do things like have a small advertising expense, so that we can reach out and try to find more volunteers and more recipients. It's allowed us to add some new features to the portal and kind of build on our program. It allows us to do the celebrations. Currently, people can choose 2 celebrations that we celebrate with them, that we'll send cards plus their birthday. We're actually looking, because of the state of funds, maybe next year we'll increase that to 3 celebrations that we will be able to do, just to give us more of an opportunity to have those touch bases with the recipients throughout the year. So some boring things, but here is our income statement. And basically what this is just our income and our expenses on a high level, just for this year, starting January 1st. So here we see that we have the total income of $24,855. That's the donations. Our expenses for the year are $12,770.06, which means that our donations over expenses is about $12,000. You can see our biggest expense is our stamp expense. It's almost $5,000, which is almost half of our budget goes towards stamps. That seems to be continuing through, even with the donations that we're getting. It takes a lot of stamps to send the amount of mail that we do. Here's a look at where we are based on our budget. So the first column is our actual, what we've incurred or raised for 2022 so far, what the budget is for where we should have been or where we thought we'd be by this point at the end of July, and then the difference. So starting off with the income, we have not raised as much money as we expected from individuals. Last year, individuals made up more than regular donations and contributions, made up about, I believe it was like 60% or 70% of what we raised. And this year, that hasn't been the case. We've definitely seen a decrease in individual donations, but we've seen an increase in corporate donations. So we had thought we'd have about 15,000 in individual donations. We only have a little over 5,500, but we only thought we'd get about 8,500 in corporate donations, and that's at 14,300. In-kind donations as well is way above where we expected it to be. We expected about 1,750. We're at 4,100. And then we figure in our merchandise gross income and our discount. And that puts us off of our budget by about $400. We're short about 400, which is fine. We had built into the budget a bunch of things for the next few months for a physical location, rent expense, furniture, things like that were kind of things that we were keeping in mind. So the fact that we're only $400 off is amazing. For our expenses, I underlined a couple expenses where we're off a bunch from where we expected. Our stamp expense is lower this year, lower than expected by $900. This is due to the amount of stamps that we've gotten as donations. So that's been a huge help that we haven't had to purchase as many stamps. And then our technology service fees, all of that money we saved on the stamp expense, we've gone ahead and we've invested into technology things. So we're about $900 over, and a lot of that has to do with some of the services that we now utilize, like Constant Contact, which allows us to send out our newsletter and maintain mailing lists, as well as some automation pieces on the back end of the portal that make my life a whole lot easier with maintenance of records and things like that. So we've been able to take some of these savings and reinvest them in. At the bottom of this, we have the online shop fees and costs and taxes and shipping costs. This is a new thing that we started, so there is no budget. So it looks like it's out of budget from there, but there's no concern with that as well. Overall, for the year, for our expenses, we're $282 under budget. So we're trending perfectly there. And we're under budget then totally by $112 for the year. So, or we're off from our budget. So we're doing perfect there. We're right in line where we're hoping we would be. And then the next few months, a lot of the accelerated budgeting that we've done slows down. So we'll be able to see that we'll probably outpace where we were thinking we would be. So new announcements. So we are going to be participating, we'll be a participating organization in the Presidential Service Awards. These are awards that are given out to US citizens that based on your volunteer service, you can get a certificate, there's a coin, a medallion. It's a really neat program that can incentivize and hopefully incentivize some of our volunteers to join up. I've put the age groups and the different levels here that you get the different awards for. So it allows us to work with, more with the teens and the young adults that can use this on resumes or for colleges, but then also be able to get these awards. Also, amazing volunteers like Dee Dee, who have put in over 4,000 hours, would be able to get a Lifetime Achievement Award as well. And those are so cool. And so excited that we'll be able to do this. While this is a US based program, we're also looking at what other recognition programs are out there, or potentially creating one of our own as well to ensure that we can make, everyone that's volunteering with us can be recognized for the amazing work that they do. We're going to be doing, or I'm going to be hosting some portal focus groups. Basically, I just need help to identify what on the portal works for you and what needs help. I don't get to see the front end that you all do in the same way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send out a quick survey, and it'll be sent out to those that get the newsletter currently. And it'll just have a whole bunch of questions around the portal. It'll be fairly quick though. I'm not looking for in-depth, but just looking to see what opportunities we have to make things better. Maybe the one thing I hear a lot is that you can't see everything on the screen, so you have to scroll. Maybe we don't need to have all those fields visible when you're searching through, or maybe search doesn't work for you very well, or the filtering. So these are kind of the things that I want to find out what's working and what's not, because then I can go through. I've created it. I can go through and hopefully modify and fix those things that are causing pain points for you all. Once we get the surveys back, a couple ways you can participate in a Zoom meeting type focus group with me. It'll be one-on-one, where for about 15 to 30 minutes, we'll just kind of go through your experiences. You can share your screen if you want, or just discuss where those pain points are, where you see there could be improvements, or where things just don't make sense or was hard for you the first time you went in to understand, just so that we can make it better. I should have those surveys ready and emailed out in the next couple weeks. If you're interested in doing that Zoom meeting with me, please email me at robert@lettersagainst.org. Let me know so that when we're getting ready to do those pieces, I'll have you right on the top of that list to spend some time with, to deep dive in and see where we can do things better. We are launching internships. So our first intern actually will be starting in a couple, about a month or so. And it was kind of a surprise that we were chosen for the internship. So what we did is we did our research to figure out how can we create more of these internships to allow students to kind of get that on the job training or experience. So we're looking at creating this program. Potential areas of these internships are going to be social media, creative writing, fundraising, basically trying to help us further LAD in finding more people. Now, if you're not a student, but you want to get involved, I've heard a bunch of people like, oh, I'd love to do something like that, but I don't need an internship, or consider joining one of our committees. So we have the newsletter that goes out there. We need creative writers to help with whether it's our blog or kind of rewording things on the website. Social media is a huge one right now. We definitely need a ton of people to help us create content and build our social media presence to find more people. Fundraising, grant writing, and Innovation Council are a few of those. Not all have opportunities available at all times. I know a big one right now is probably going to be social media. We're definitely looking for those that have a social media background to help with creating hashtags and just build our presence. So if you have any thoughts on, maybe you have a special skill or talent that you could use to help us, by all means, reach out to me and let me know. We might have a way of creating something like that, or creating a new committee to support that. I mentioned a little bit earlier, but an update on the physical location. So the decision has been made that we're going to delay the opening of physical location. And we're going to look at free spaces like libraries or offices that maybe will donate their space. and maybe once every 2 weeks, get volunteers to come in and help with the processing of letters and just catching up. That has become a huge um, point of my time lately, is all those the cards and the letters, reading them, addressing them, and sending those out. So we're looking to find ways to kind of pull some of that off of myself so I can continue to keep pushing the organization forward. So but I am going to put together an analysis of the cost of the new location. I'll present that to the board in 2023, and we'll make a decision then on if it makes sense to open a local location here. And it would be multifaceted. It would be for people to help with, putting together events. It would be for helping us with processing letters. If someone has a finance background, maybe they help with the finance piece and updating the financials, or something like that. We just need a base of operations, because right now there's just no way to keep moving around all the stamps, the envelopes, get the letters into the hands of other people. So it does have to stay centralized for now. The 2022 budget items, we did budget a bunch of money for a physical location to open. We were expecting around September or October. Those budgeted items are going to be that budget amount will be utilized for other LAD needs. One of the things that we're looking at right now is a updated and revamped website. We want a website presence that truly defines who we are. And when people go to the site, will understand everything immediately. It's going to have videos, tutorials. It'll have a portal side for volunteers and a portal side for recipients, and kind of go through everything, frequently asked questions. Everything's going to be part of that. So that might be one of the things that we utilize those funds for instead, but we'll be utilizing it for different ways to push the program forward. Social media, we've talked a little bit about, but we definitely need your help to grow our social media presence. That is the #1 way that people find out about us. When we get people signing up both as volunteers or as recipients, and we ask, where did you hear about us? Where did you find us? It's someone shared something on Facebook, on Instagram. They saw us on LinkedIn. There was a Twitter post. Social media is really one of the biggest ways that we can get the word out there. We're a worldwide organization. We'll send letters to absolutely anywhere in the world, and social media will allow us that ability to reach those people, to let them know. So I've listed our different social medias here. These are the 4 major ones we have: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Interact, share our posts, like them, that sort of thing. That's going to help grow the community, and it helps spread our message to even more people. And if you want, you can also connect with me on Facebook, friend me, or on LinkedIn. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd like to update your skill set, and those fun things you could do with LinkedIn. So we do have a Letters Against Depression LinkedIn as well. That's the link up in the middle there. That one we send out our blog posts and other corporate type facing information we try to send out on that one. And that's my presentation for the updates. So what I've done, this took exactly the first half hour, which is great. I'm here for questions. If you have any questions about the month, any questions about the program in general, LAD in general, anything about LAD, this is your time now that you can ask me questions. We can review things we've talked about, or anything. So I am here for any questions. I'm totally fine if there is none as well.
I'd like to help out with social media. This is Kimberly.
Hey, Kimberly. Yeah, absolutely. Let me get the information, because as we're trying to put a parameter, so once we get that, I'll reach out. But that's awesome. That's definitely something we need. We try to create our own content. So what we're doing is we use Canva to create what posts, the visuals that we want, because I don't want to just share some other organization's post that has a nice, neat little saying on it or looks nice. we're trying to create our own, and that's truly our biggest need is in social media for that piece is creating these visual pieces that we can send out. The more we get, the more we create, the more we can schedule through our social media scheduling tool to post that out. So that's awesome. Thank you. I will write that down and get that information over to you.
Yeah, I'm also interested in that, and writing and stuff like that, and the social media. I actually did a thing in school with social media stuff, so I have some experience working with social media. So
That's awesome. Perfect. Then yeah, I'll send that information over to both of you as soon as I get that. Yeah, the biggest thing, we have Canva, like I mentioned, and then we use a program called Later to schedule. So once we create something, then we schedule it in Later to all of our different social media, so that we don't have to physically hands on keyboard be like, all right, I'm going to log in tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. and post it. Like we can put it on there and kind of schedule. So we try to do like a month in advance or a few weeks in advance. We'll put stuff out there and fill up the calendar so that it'll just kind of auto post on its own. But they're really easy programs to use. But that's awesome. That's a huge, huge need and a huge way to help out. That seems to be the one area that we can't retain people in for too long. They go in and they'll post really heavily and nicely for a couple weeks, and then it just kind of shies away. And then, but that's perfect. I'll get that information over to you both.
You mentioned in one of the last meetings about buying advertising on YouTube, I think, or Facebook. Did we end up doing that?
And I apologize for that. Can you say the question one more time?
Last meetings, you talked about buying advertising on YouTube or Facebook.
Yes.
I was doing that or not.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we are doing that, and it's working out really well. What we're finding is people are engaging with our posts or our ads, and we're seeing an increase in the people that are signing up. The return on investment on it is actually pretty good as well. I want to say we're paying like 8 cents for every click to the website. So based on the metrics that they keep saying, it's doing well. But that has done well, which is good, and something that we're going to continue. We do have an advertising budget throughout the rest of the year, and Facebook and Instagram, they both kind of work at the same. Those seem to be the best ways for us to get the message out. So we'll continue to concentrate on those, probably about $150 or so a month, trying to find new volunteers and new recipients. We've focused only on recipients so far, even though it says that you can volunteer. It was definitely the ones that we've done were more pointed towards, if you need help, reach out. As we move throughout the year, we're going to target a little bit more on finding those people that want to volunteer, that are looking for either volunteer hours or just have a passion to help people, and try to find those people as well as part of that. And I'm open to suggestions too. If anyone knows of any other ways to advertise that would be effective, please let me know. Social media seems to be the easiest. I can create an ad and send it out, which can go worldwide. That's the one caveat that we have, is that because we're worldwide, it's not like I could just get a billboard or a bus stand or something like that and advertise, because then it's only a very small potential audience there. Good question. Katrina, sorry, your audio is having difficulty.
Hey there, here I am.
Hey, hello.
Sorry, I was in the middle of eating lunch, but here I am now.
No worries. Yes, and so reading the message you sent, the project that was amazing.
Well, good. I'm glad.
It was a lot of good feedback. They were great. So those pictures would be great. I have a few myself,
Okay.
but the ones that you have, I would love to create posts, especially as we look to create posts next year as well for Pride Month and things like that.
Yeah, there's a lot that are gonna, there's, gosh, they turned out really well. I'm really happy with how the photos worked. I'd just gotten a new camera and a new computer set up, so I got to, it was great. And I was really happy. The envelopes I used were from a company called Paper Source, which is national.
Okay.
They reposted some of the images, and so almost 300,000 followers were able to see some of that work I did for you
Yeah.
guys.
It was beautiful. And for those here, so Katrina has an amazing gift with calligraphy. And what they did was for Pride Day, designed a whole thing around that. I mean, the envelope was this beautiful, shiny, metallic type feel to it. And their writing is just absolutely beautiful. Decorated the envelopes, and just the whole, was amazing. I did take some of the pictures that you had posted on, I believe it was Instagram that you tagged us in. So
Mhm.
I did pull a few of those, but any of the other ones you have, absolutely, I'd love those, because they were absolutely wonderful.
Oh, thank you so much. Of course.
Yes. That's one of and truly, if anyone, if you have a talent and you're all like, hey, I think this could, be something that I'd love to hear it, and try to find some way to work together to use that as healing. In this case, the calligraphy, I mean, it's beautiful, but art really does lend itself to healing, especially in the mental health areas. And there are so many opportunities and things that we can do to send, and all that people connect with, and it's that connection that really drives that healing journey. So things like that are great. We it's funny, I just got a piece of feedback, and I'll have to find it out. I think it's on the portal. If not, it will be in a couple days. But someone mentioned that this year for Pride Month, it was the most engaged they felt, and the best in terms of the response from the cards, and the community was just amazing. We sent so many Pride Day cards. I want to say we had 400 or 500 that we sent out for it, and I mean, people they loved it. It was great. They definitely, it hit exactly what we were hoping to hit. So anything that we can do like that is perfect. All right. Any other questions? And it truly can be absolutely anything. If not, it was perfect. We'll be doing this more regularly every month. It fell off the last couple of months with how crazy things were here. But hopefully things are going to start settling down, and we'll look to have these kind of updates each month. We're going to be recording them as we are now, so that if you can't make it, no worries. We'll post it. We'll put it on Facebook. It'll be on our YouTube channel, and you can always rewatch and, kind of get the highlights from that. All right. Well, thank you all so much. I appreciate it. You all are amazing, and I can't thank you enough. If you have any questions after this, if anything pops up and you want to ask, you can always reach me through email, robert@lettersagainst.org. Go ahead, ask away. I try to be an open book on anything that you may, and if it's with LAD, it's completely an open book. So I don't get mad or anything if it's about finances, and I'm all like, no, that's not I totally transparent and open. So if you have any questions on the presentation later, or anything that we're doing, please reach out, let me know. But I thank you all so much. Have yourselves an amazing rest of your evening, and I will talk to you all soon.
Thank you.
All
Take
right.
care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.